You that have been on these calls already know the ABC team. I'm Kayla Bodie. I'm the program administrator for the ABC program. And then we also have Miss Brandy Ishman on the call today, and she is our assistant director over the ABC program and direct services. And then we've got Miss Letitia Connors on the call. She is a program eligibility specialist here at the ABC. Miracle Lee is also on the call. She's also a program eligibility specialist. So you've probably talked to these two ladies a lot when doing COPA support or just reaching out into that mailbox. Miss Cynthia Ingalls is also on the call. She is our program eligibility supervisor. And then we have a couple of new faces that I just want to go ahead and introduce. You may have recognized them from their previous roles in ABC, but I want to introduce our fiscal support analyst, Miss Nancy Pearlstein. And then also our ABC program coordinator, Michelle Davis. And so I know a lot of you have spoken with Nancy or Michelle, maybe in previous roles with the ABC program. And so we're excited to have them back on our team. And Michelle was working over doing some licensing specialist work. And so now she's back on the ABC team. We're really excited to have both of them here and to gain some input. So I've got their contact information on the page, but I know they're also popping that information into the chat box as well. Please feel free to email or call any of our team with any questions that you have. As you know, we no longer have specific ABC specialists, so you can reach out to any of our team. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started today. If you have a question at any time, if there's anything that we talk about that you need clarification on, feel free to use the chat box and we will have some time at the end to go over questions and answers. Okay, so on today's agenda, we are going to just go over a couple of different housekeeping things about the grant renewal and some spring audit information, final disclosure audit requirements, and then we're going to talk about a couple of different upcoming trainings. And we're going to take a little bit of time to talk about summer ABC for those of you who are participating. We've had a lot of questions about summer ABC, and so I'm going to try to answer those questions as best as we can. And then if there is anything specific, I will get you the contact information for our peers that are going to be doing the eligibility for summer. So we've had a lot of questions about the grant renewal in COPA. So now that the coordinated funding request has been completed, we are going to be opening up the grant renewal in COPA. So this is where you will go in and update all of your information in the COPA data system. You will put in your site information, your budget for the next school year, upload your documents such as your school calendar. So please keep an eye out for an email with instructions on how to complete this. It is going to look a little bit different than the years past. So we will be sending out detailed instructions. And then we're also going to post some information on the COPA login page. So if you are not receiving email updates from me, for example, I sent a reminder this morning about today's meeting. If you are not receiving those emails, please send me an email. You can scroll to the top of the chat and my email is right there, kayla.bodie@ade.arkansas.gov. Please let me know and I will add you to the distribution list. We will also post it on COPA, so you will not miss the opening of the grant information. This will be an update. And like I said, we'll send detailed instructions and we are going to give you several weeks to get this completed. So it will not be due in even 1 or 2 weeks. We will probably give closer to about 3 weeks for you to get this completed. I know it's a lot of information and we will be here to support you every step of the way and answer any questions that you have. So keep an eye out for that. Like I said, we will be sending out an email with those instructions. And if for any reason you're not receiving those emails, please let me know. You can send me an email directly and just ask to be added to the distribution list if you're not already. Any questions so far? Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about ABC program auditing. So we are going to do some spring audits. And so your program may receive an email from our eligibility staff with audit information. We are going to send you a notification if you will be audited, and we will send you the date and detailed instructions for your next steps. So if we are going to be auditing you, let's say on the 19th, we will send you a notification. You'll have the date, and we will just ask that you please have someone on site who will be responsible for uploading those requested files. We'll be sending a list of children and asking you to, and maybe staff and some other requests, and we'll be asking you to upload those to COPA eDocs. So if you are a part of an audit, you just need to make sure that you have someone on staff that is ready to upload those files. So if you have questions, if you receive a notice, and if you have questions during that process, our team is here to help. We will help you through that. And yeah, Krista, I was already ready for that question. I knew someone was going to ask. Yeah, if you are closed for spring break, if we send you an email and you're going to be closed during that time, you can just let us know that date or those dates that you will be closed. Yes. And we'll get with you on a different date. And so you'll get instructions on what that'll look like. But if we set your date for, the 20th or whatever, I'm just giving an example. If we set a date for the 20th, you'll receive a list of what information and which children we need that morning. And so you'll have time to let us know, oh, hey, our school's actually closed that day. And we do have all of your calendars, so we will make sure and look at that before we send you anything, any kind of notice. School districts have to get the school board to pass our parent handbook, so it's usually in June before we have ours. Yes, so if you are waiting to get your handbook or your calendar approved by your school board, you will just upload those documents once you get them approved. And as I said, we're going to give you plenty of time to get this information in COPA, and we'll work with you on those attachments and if anything is missing. And again, if you have questions during the audit process or during the grant renewal, we have the COPA support mailbox. All of our team monitors that. So if you have questions during that process at all, feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to help. Okay, I don't see any questions right now. So getting everything uploaded into COPA. So once you receive an audit notification, it's going to depend a little bit on the size of your program. So if if the amount of files, for example, let's say it only ends up being about 10, 15 children, you'll have until close of business to upload those files. So if you're a larger program, we would do it over a series of several days. So we would give you, let's say, 10 to 15 names the first day, and then we would give you the next list of names the next day. And when we send you the notification, you will see that we will be sending instructions that also let you know the reports that we run prior to your audit. So you can go in yourself and run those same reports and see the exact data that we will be looking for. And you'll be receiving that email either from myself or it'll be from Cynthia Ingalls, Letitia Connors, or Miracle Lee. So just keep an eye out for those emails with the notice. And then if you have questions, like I said, about those instructions, or you have a question about any of the timeframes or anything that we give you, you can just respond to any of our team, and we will definitely help you through that. As I know this looks a little different than what you're used to in the past, and so we definitely are here to help. Will all programs be audited? So not all programs are going to be audited this spring, no. Now, we will audit all programs over the next program year. So, what that looks like could vary by program depending on when your last audit was as well. So, and Tammy, you'll be notified you'll be notified prior to, but we are not at this time in the springtime going to be auditing all programs, no. And I think that you'll find a lot of the information that we are going to be asking for in the audit is information that you're already submitting and uploading into COPA. So when we are looking for things like we just talked about the parent handbook, when we're looking for those types of things, you already are going to have those uploaded in your eDocs that you do from the beginning of the school year. So most of it will already be done. So you're not going to have to spend a whole lot of time. I think the time consuming part may be uploading those child files. Donna, what reports should we run? So we are going to send that out via email, but we can also, let me see what reports. Cindy, will you, if you can, will you put a list of those reports in the chat box?
Yes, okay.
And that way you'll know, I believe it's going to be the developmental report. Cindy, I'm going to let her pull that up while we move on. So the criteria for choosing programs. So we're looking at programs that have not been audited, first and foremost. And then other than that, we pull a randomized selection of children and files, and we are just looking based on a percentage. So we typically do 10%. Unless you have a really low number of children, and then the minimum is 10. So we're looking at those programs that have not been audited. Yeah. So if you already have all your child files in COPA, that is totally fine. If you receive a notice of audit, you can just let your program eligibility specialist that sends you that notice, you can just respond and let them know that all of your child files have already been uploaded into eDocs into COPA. I know some programs do already do that. There's lots of staff files that will be uploaded into COPA as well. And so there, like I said, there's going to be a lot that you don't have to upload that's already going to be there. And if you're one of those programs that is already scanning and uploading all of that, you don't have to worry about doing that on the spot. And again, like we said, you will definitely receive detailed instructions if you are selected to be audited or monitored by our team. You'll receive clear instructions by email, and then you'll have an opportunity. I mean, you can always call us, you can email us if you have questions. Thank you, Cindy. She popped those reports into the chat, and these will also be listed on the instructions that you receive. So these are the reports that we will use to review. And some of you may already use these. So you've got attendance, enrollment, staff information, your health screening, developmental screening, and your referral reports. So a lot of you probably already use these just to see when you have due dates coming up for children that have screenings, or maybe when their next physical or vision or hearing is coming up. And these are the same reports that we will be using. So this will be helpful for you to know. And again, we're here to work with you. So if you have questions, feel free to ask. We will be here with you for each step. We want this to be a positive experience. And so we're really excited about our auditing process going forward and what it's going to look like. So I think that you all will also find it enjoyable, and we want to be positive and we want to work with you as a team. So don't stress about auditing or monitoring. And if you have questions, feel free to send us an email. Miracle, will you pop in the COPA support email into the chat box just so everyone has it? You can always email us and we will send you a response. Okay, so we do have a little bit of information regarding final disclosure audit requirements. So we're reviewing those requirements right now for the current, the threshold for programs to complete a final disclosure. I am waiting on confirmation. So please keep an eye out for future updates. We'll send that out by email and program emails. Right now, your threshold is if you receive over $100,000. With state or federal funds, then you do a final disclosure audit each program year. And so we're looking at that $100,000 mark to see if there's an adjustment there. And we will definitely send out information. We will send out an email. We will be updating the finance guides. And then, of course, we'll talk about it as well in April. So as soon as we do have a number, I know I've had a couple of questions about it. But as soon as we do have a number, we will send that out by email. So again, if you're not receiving emails from me and you need to be added to the distribution list, please let me know. I typically pull your emails directly out of COPA, but I know that we're getting ready to update all of that information, the coordinator, the financial liaison. And so that's why it's so important to have that information updated in COPA. But if you are not getting those emails, please reach out and just let me know, and I will add you to that list. I know that many of you received an email from the COPA support system itself. They are providing a parent portal training. Just a reminder, it's tomorrow. It is also on the login page when you are about to log into your COPA data system. Before you actually log in, there's a little yellow box that pops up, and they are having their own parent portal training. So we did a training a few weeks ago, and that is recorded on our website. I have the link here for you. If you go to our ABC website, we will make sure and have the recorded this meeting there, but also the parent portal training is recorded there. But this is being put on by COPA. And so they will typically have a registration link. Yes, they have a registration to go on for the webinar. So they're going to cover, it says how to complete applications, how to upload documents, access and share resources, how to complete the child and family assessment, and submitting volunteer hours. I just want to remind you that if you participate in those that are put on by COPA, keep in mind that there's some features that are in place that are used by COPA for Head Start and other programs that we may not necessarily use. So for example, proof of residency is not necessarily something that we require by ABC. It is required by Head Start. Volunteer hours, they use the COPA system to track volunteer hours. We don't require you to do that. And so there may be some things like the child and family assessments that we don't necessarily do for ABC. So when you are taking those trainings, keep in mind that there are pieces of it that you may not be required to use. And so that is why our team did do a separate parent portal training. And we do have it on our website. So definitely feel free to go there and watch that training. Feel free to take part in the one that's being put on by Kinder Systems. I think it will be helpful. And so if you have any questions, let me know in the chat box. And I am going to share the link for that Zoom for Kinder Systems, just in case anyone does not have it. So I did have a question about the audit for finance. So the final disclosure audit is due 120 days after your program year ends. And that is specifically for the final disclosure audit. Of course, as you all know, there are different deadlines throughout the year for your mid-year expenditure, your final expenditure. And we'll continue to talk about those deadlines as they come up. So I did put the Kinder Systems link in the chat if anyone wants to register for tomorrow's training that they're putting on. And like I said, I think it'll be beneficial. And then I'm also just going to make sure to put our ABC training link in the chat as well. If you have not already linked or bookmarked our website, I would encourage you to do that. We post all of our training videos there, and we have the Zoom link there. And we try to make sure that we keep that up to date just with any resources or training materials, and we'll continue to do that throughout the year. So before we get into any other questions, we do have our next provider call on April 22nd. If you were not here from the last meeting, we did let everyone know that we are moving to monthly for these provider calls, and it is the third Tuesday of every month. It's the same Zoom link, so if you have it on your calendar, it should be reoccurring on that third Tuesday of every month. Now, I do want to also just add, we will post these slides as well to the website, so all of these links will be there for you, including the survey. You can take a picture of the QR code or you can use the link. And you can submit any questions that you would like to see us discuss on these monthly provider calls to that direct forms link. It is anonymous. You don't have to put in any of your information. So if you don't feel comfortable putting in your program information, but you would like to add a suggestion for our monthly provider calls, we would love to hear from you. And then I wanted to just talk briefly about summer ABC. So I know I've had a couple of questions about that. You should have already received a letter and confirmation about summer ABC if you're participating. If you have not received any information or you are unsure, then you'll need to reach out directly. And Brandy, do you have a specific email that you would like for anyone to reach out to if they have not received any kind of notification about ABC Summer?
Right, so those notifications have not gone out yet. They should be out before the end of this month.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm looking to see. Just gonna see if there's any questions. And I'm gonna put in, I think it's the oec.summer pre-K program at ADE is the email address. I'm gonna put that in the chat box. That way, if you have any questions, there is an email that you can use. And we are going to move on. any questions that we have not gone out? Yes, Paula, so we talked a little bit about the grant update opening. So it is going to be opening, and we are going to send out email notification with instructions. So keep an eye on your email for that. And I know you're on your email is on my distribution list, so you should get that. Yes, we're going to be sending it out. Just keep an eye out for that. It'll have detailed instructions. It will be a little bit different than in the years past. You'll receive your instructions and your grant agreement. You'll all receive all of that in one email. Okay. So that is all we have for today's call. If we have any other questions, feel free to add them now. We would love for you to join us each month as we have these calls. Like I said, please utilize the QR code that we have. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what topics that you want to hear about. And our next call will be April 22nd. It'll be at the same time. So from 12, we usually leave it open from 12 to 1. And so next month we are going to have hopefully a guest speaker come on and talk to you a little bit about the options that we have with our behavioral health team. And so we should have that on our next month's agenda. But if there's any other topics you want to hear about, please use the QR code. Feel free to submit. And if there are no other questions, thank you all for spending your lunch hour with us. And I hope you have a great rest of your week, and everyone stay safe. I did see a question really quickly about a curriculum. Krista, if you'll email me your question, I'll get with you on that, okay? Have a great afternoon.